Hi guys, and welcome back to Fish Johnny. As you know, in the last episode I used this NT Labs Magiclear, and I was in massive hope that this would actually clear my pond, because I've been through such a journey for the past like 6 to 8 weeks trying to get rid of this pea soup green pond water that I've been experiencing. So as a last resort, and off a recommendation of Bobby Knox, shout out to Bobby there, I gave this a whirl. Now it says that basically it goes into the water and it acts like glue within the water to the algae and the particles in the water, and it'll drag it right down to the bottom or some to the top, and it'll remove all the fines within your water and into your filter system, and you can take it out. Because if it rises, it goes into my skimmer, which goes into my Tempest filter, and if it goes down, goes into the bottom drain, through the bottom drain and into the Nexus. So I applied that. I have experienced a couple of problems which I'll explain later, but on a whole, if you can see there, we are seeing a massive improvement. I'm going to walk over now and show you, but I have seen a massive improvement in the water. It wasn't easy and I did a lot of things wrong, which means I might have to treat again. But if you look at that, that wasn't what we were seeing before. We weren't seeing the clarity and the depth there of the water, and especially right down to the bottom drain. We were seeing like probably at max 1.5 meter to 2 meters in. Now I can see the fish. This morning when I went to see the fish, I actually saw them not sleeping, because as I was corrected, they don't sleep because they've got no eyelids, fish, which to be honest I've never noticed before, but I've never seen them blinking. So yeah, they haven't got eyelids. They've just got this thick glaze of like stuff on their eyes, which acts like goggles to them apparently. That's what Google says anyway. So anyway, back to the pond. So we're looking at the particles, and as you can see, we're seeing the depth. We can see quite a couple of little fish knocking around. I'm sure when we go to the front window, which is their predominant window, they'll all be there waiting for a little bit of food and stuff, and we'll do a top-down view and we'll be able to see what's happening with the fish. Okay, so I'll wander around the front and probably perch myself there while I talk a little bit more about what's gone on. Okay guys, so there, as you can see, we've got Otis here, and we can see him, and there's no real particle. There's a few little particles knocking around there, but you can see the depth. It's definitely had a massive effect of it dragging, binding all the particles in the water, dragging it down and pushing it up. But like I said before, I did have I didn't quite do it right to start with. Now one of the things that it says on the bottle is try and do a partial water change. So I did a little water change. I'm talking like probably 1,000 litres water change, which is next to nothing on the 11,000 litres. Well, it's 9%, but look at that glorious fish, Fred. Mate, that is an absolute star of a fish. I can't wait to see how much he grows this year, and he's definitely going to win Grower of the Year. But anyway, I've gone off on a tangent here. One of the things that I didn't do was a decent sized water change, which may have hindered the results. The other thing that it says on the bottle is if you've got a pond with a fast flow, turn off the filters to allow it to basically group together all the fine particles, because in a nutshell what will happen is if the flow is too much, it'll just keep stopping them from binding together, and if they do bind together, the flow will be too strong for it, and it'll just bash it off the walls or bash it around, and it'll disintegrate again. So it wanted a reduced flow. I've got quite a narrow pond. As we know, the flow is quite strong in this pond because it's only narrow, so it flies down, flies across, flies up. So I didn't think that the flow was a problem, because I had my filters set to 40%, which is 4,000 litres per hour. Two pumps, so 8,000 litres an hour. But I found that when I originally put it in, it worked initially, bang, straight off the bat. So it grouped a few particles together on the top, as you can see in my last video, if you check that one out if you haven't seen it. So it just binded them to the top, and we definitely saw an immediate impact off the bat of the water clarity improving and things like that. But as the day went on and it just kept thundering round and thundering round, it must have like disintegrated the particles again, or a large majority of them, because a lot was moved out but not all was moved out. So in a nutshell, what I did the day after, or 2 days later, when I was a little bit disappointed and I thought this hasn't worked either, so what am I going to do now? I was like a little bit cheesed off with the whole thing, to be honest, but I'd seen an improvement, and I'd seen the binding on the top of the water, and I'd seen like a lot more depth, and I just wanted to know why it had gone so wrong. So I went on the website of NT Labs and I read their in-depth instructions that aren't available on the bottle. And basically one of the things that he said is turn off the filters. So I'm gonna turn off the filters for the first 4 hours of it starting, because I don't want to leave the filters completely off, but I can observe the fish to make sure that they're not in any distress in that particular moment, and I'll be able to watch them consistently for 4 hours. Then after 4 hours I'm gonna put the pumps on, but super low, so it just enables the pull towards the bottom like drain, but it doesn't make a massive flow and stop the particles from binding. So it'll just be like a gentle pull. Well, that's my idea anyway, that's my hypothesis around it, is the fact it will be a reduced pull towards the bottom drain after 4 hours of being off, so the particles will have had time to bind together, but when I introduce the flow back in at a gentle reduced rate, it won't smash the particles apart, so it should enable them to stay together and make the way towards either the Tempest or the Nexus. So, and then after 24 hours I'll review it again after that. But what I would like to say is I'm going to flip you around in a minute, so you can have a look at the true depth that we've managed to achieve just off one sort of ill-managed treatment of the pond, because I've got a little bit wrong. I just thought the flow was low enough, but it turns out it wasn't. So if you're watching this video and thinking about treating the pond, make sure that your flow is really, really, really low. Otherwise you're just going to have the same issue I had, which is not perfection, which is a significant and serious increase in visibility, but not perfection. And I would like perfection. When I'm talking about where it's got to, it's not bad. If I look at it now, I can see the fish at the bottom, the darker fish like Morrison. From the top down, he's an orange and dark black fish, and down the bottom he can be very, very difficult to see. But as the improvements I've made on the pond, I've been able to monitor him. If I want to go out and check on Morrison, I can just walk around the pond and I can find him, whereas before I couldn't do that. But we aren't seeing perfection. We can see the bottom, but we can't see everything we want to see. So I do believe in another treatment, and what I'm going to do for that second treatment is, it says on NT Labs website that you have to wait for 7 days to pass before you can retreat your pond. So I'm going to wait for the 8th day to make sure, and then I'm going to treat the pond again, but like I say, with the flow down. So hopefully that will be massively improved. Like, I'm hoping that does everything and allows the UV light to get on top of everything, and the pond can then start doing its own thing. So let me flip you back round anyway and show you the pond clarity. Okay guys, so off we go. From the front, there you go. We can see straight off the bat there in the central section, we can see the outline of the bubbles coming up. So that is a significant improvement in its own right. And if we wander over there, we can see a few at the back there. You see Otis coming across, Freddie, that's Foz now coming in, and there's Fate right at the back. That's weird. So we've got Foz and Fate there, but you can see there, we can see an Eric, unusual appearance, but we can see quite a lot. If I can move my skinny legs out of the way, look at that bottom drain that we can see. We definitely couldn't see that before. So let's go for the top down and look at that. We definitely didn't have that sort of clarity that we have there, especially because I'm looking at the water and I'm trying to see particles. I can see a few, but not many, whereas we could see before. I'm going to come around this side so the tree can enable us to see a little bit clearer. There you go, look at that. Look at that. We just dive down right into the fish. We are seeing a lot. And then if we come here, we can see the fish at the bottom. You see the one with there's Foz. If we see here, we'll come across here into this corner, you can see Jagger. He is literally lay or sat in the corner there, just avoiding the flow of the pond. It's not unusual. He's been up before, so he's not a change in his behaviour. He's just probably having a little rest. But yeah, we can see right down there to the bottom of him, and then we can see the boys up the top waiting for a bit of food, which actually, let me spin you back round. In fact, let's just continue over here so we can see down to the bubbles there. If we use the tree for the light, for the shade, so then we can monitor it. You can see right down to the bottom, but like I said, it's not perfection. In fact, one thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn off the bubbles, so then we'll be or the aeration to the pond, if you like, and that will reduce this sort of effect. So we'll be able to see the true clarity of the water there. So bear with me while I do that. Okay guys, so I'm just heading back round now. What will happen with the fish is the air's just gone off. Because there's been a change in their environment, they're all literally going to dive down to the bottom. So let's go and do a little top-down view from here of the fish, probably at their lowest that they can be due to the changes. Okay, so all the fish, as predicted, are right down the bottom. You can see there as we come across and back round there. There's Morrison, the one that I was talking about earlier. You see him there, lowest one, going into the dark there, turning to the left with his little bit of carp pox left on him. He is literally on the bottom, and we can still see him. But then if we just observe some of the lighter fish, smaller, gangier, like, it's difficult because of the reflection on the surface that I'm seeing on this camera, but whether that's going to come out or not, I don't know. There, look at the Yamabuki right down the bottom there. The Yamabuki on the bottom, you can see the current just carrying him off. He's not swimming, but the current's forcing him back because we've just turned the air off. We haven't turned the filters off, we've just turned the air off. What a beautiful view. It is absolutely stunning to see it at such clarity. But like I say, it ain't perfect, and we want to get towards perfect. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that with the aeration off and being able to see the fish from the top down. Like I said, I'm hoping this camera will pick it up and you can see right down to the bottom of the pond. Even the darker fish, we can see right down to the bottom of the pond. So there has been a marked and significant improvement. So the NT Labs Magiclear is good, but Johnny wasn't good on following the instructions. So I'm going to retreat it, so that'll be in 2 days time. 3 days for the video coming out, because I like to try and release a video on a Saturday and on a Wednesday when I get a chance to do the videos in between looking after the kids. But the kids are being extremely challenging at the minute and having so many temper tantrums, it's unreal. But the nursery like to tell me that the more challenging the behaviour and the more defiant the behaviour at this age, the more intelligent they are. So basically, my wife's given birth to 2 Einsteins because they pad it all the time. But anyway, back to the fish. So the plan is now, in 3 days time, to do the second treatment with the reduced flow as we've just said, and we're hoping to see pure clarity. Nothing left, no like little hazes. I really want to see that back wall from the front window. And I really do believe that with the tweaks that I've mentioned earlier on, I believe that we can achieve that. I really do. I'm really, really hopeful. And then we can move on to a new subject, because there's a load of subjects I want to cover in this beautiful hobby of keeping koi. I mean, it is just outstanding to sit there, watch your fish every single day. I mean, not when it's surrounded by the pea soup green, but when there's been no harm to the fish because the parameters have been fine. It is beautiful, it's relaxing, it's chilling out, it's educational, it's absolutely brilliant hobby to be involved in, be it overwhelming at the beginning with all the different things that you've got to understand and go through. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. There will be another episode, unfortunately, on this NT Labs Magiclear. So that's been Koi Fish Johnny. Same shirt, same subject, but a different result. Next time, it's going to be pure, gin clear, everything gone. Take care, please like, please subscribe, and I hope you've enjoyed the content, guys. Okay guys, so I emptied this a little while ago, and this will show you the effect that NT Labs stuff has. It binds, I mean, look at that. It binds everything together like that, and that's what you want to be coming out. Just clumped up stuff, so it's all together. That's what it does, acts like glue, so then your filter can take it out.